You're listening to 772 Sports, a local Treasure Coast sports podcast highlighting everything from Little League to the NFL. Here are your hosts, Curtis Carpenter and Mike Higgins. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the 772 Sports Podcast. This is Curtis Carpenter. I'm with Mike Higgins. What do we have for him today, Mike?
Oh, man, we got a lot to catch up on, huh?
Major League playoffs coming up.
Yep.
NFL football in full swing.
Right
College
in the middle
football
of it.
shakeups. Treasure Coast chatter is going to be amazing, covering the last 2 weeks of high school football. So hang with us, and we'll see what we got.
Let's ride.
Treasure Coast chatter. All right, this is Treasure Coast Chatter, where we talk a lot about high school football. We also like to talk about other sports, but again, in Florida, football's king, so we're going to talk high school football. So, again, we've taken 2 weeks to get back to this podcast.
Yes.
We have 2 games to cover for a couple of high schools.
Yep.
A couple of teams canceled their games due to Hurricane Ian. Again, that's one of the reasons why we're 2 weeks out. But anyway, you want to start with Vero Beach High School?
Yeah, man, they look good again, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've won 2 games since our last podcast.
So who did they beat? They beat Miami Palmetto and Fort Pierce Central just on Monday.
That's right. So let's cover the Miami Palmetto game first, if you don't mind. That game was actually played in Sebastian because of poor weather.
Yep.
Our governor was there. That was kind of crazy.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Whether or not getting into the political side
we're not going to play politics here, but
just having your governor at a local high school game is
whether
is
you're
amazing.
in Florida, you're in New York, you're in California, you're in Texas, Illinois, it doesn't matter. Your governor at your high school game is really neat. So, again, that game was played in Sebastian. Vero won. That moved them to 5-0 on the season.
That was their closest game of the year, right? It was 21-17.
21-17, close game. I think they were down at one point. But I do have some stats for you. Aronson, the quarterback there, was 21 for 32, 284 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. So finally a defense that may have been able to curtail him. He did rush for 49 yards on 10 carries. And then my boy, the Florida State commit there, Jacobs, had 8 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the biggest play for him in that game was actually as a defensive back.
Yeah.
He knocked a pass down with about 6 minutes left that would have given Miami Palmetto the lead. And then Woolard Woolard had 8 catches for 126 yards as well. So between Jacobs and Woolard, 217 yards receiving, 16 catches. And then your boy, you called him out a couple weeks ago, Ephraim Wright.
Yeah.
Freshman, had a touchdown rush, a little 2-yard rush, but that kid's going to be something special.
Yeah, man, they like to Vero likes to chuck the thing around, huh?
Yeah, man.
They don't run a whole lot.
No, they don't, but when they do, it's successful. But why would you run the ball when you have this kid Jacobs?
He is out of this world talent, man. I'm really, really jealous that Florida State's getting him.
Yeah, he looks good, man. I know that he's in high school, and you're kind of watching what you presume to be a college kid play in high school. But he's dominating in this at this level.
Yeah, but when you see him do it against teams like Miami Palmetto, man, that's a legit high school team, right? Like all those Miami teams are. I
was looking at some of Miami Palmetto's guys. They got Willis McGahee's son.
Yeah,
is a pass rusher.
Yep.
Plays the defensive edge, I guess they call it now, defensive end. And then they have 2 kids that are committed to University of Miami. It's 2 brothers, twin brothers.
Yeah,
Robbie and Bobby Washington.
Yeah.
Robbie.
Those are both 4-star commits, so those are upper level college players.
Right. Well, Robbie's a receiver. He caught a touchdown. And Bobby is a defensive I think he's a linebacker.
Yep.
He had a sack. But, that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat, man. And it's awesome seeing where the Vero program is. Like, it seemed like maybe 10 years ago they had a little drop-off there for a couple years. But since I've been, in high school and after, we've always had a pretty dominant football team, right? Like,
yeah, like you said, there was kind of a small little a lull, and I don't know if that's just me thinking, well, I haven't been in high school in a while, and I haven't been to a game in a while, and I don't know much about it, so I presume they're in a lull. I'll tell you what really reinvigorated my energy into Vero Beach High School football was when they started broadcasting the games on YouTube. Well, now it's a paid subscription, and maybe some people think that there's another lull there, but being able to sit in my house on a Friday night and watch the watch the games really reinvigorated my energy.
You could stream it on the big, on one of your 7 big screens in the living room, and that's kind of a cool thing.
Well, and now you have to pay for that subscription. I don't know how much it is. I don't know if it's cost efficient or not, but it's a little frustrating because it's like I want to be able to sit on my on my couch and watch.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because Todd Wood had his thing where he had like the students helping him, and he was broadcasting the games. And now I think it's the Parises or somebody's broadcast. And I'm sure they're doing a great job. I just don't get to see it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. The Parises do a good job, man, with that. I don't know. I mean, I guess Jankowski or somebody would have to be involved with charging. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a program.
And I guess it's pretty expensive to, I would think, run a program like Vero, like a top tier program. I mean, I think they have different jerseys every week. It seems like. And
well, it's funny. I interviewed Jankowski years ago. I was a writer for the News Weekly, which was a Press Journal publication. But and I interviewed him, and at the time, and I'd have to go back and look at the article, but I think he said there were 63 athletic programs.
Right.
And only one of them was profitable. It was football. So football is funding 62 other programs. But yeah, and again, I don't know how that program works as far as the paid subscription thing. But all I'm getting at is it would be really nice if we could just sit and watch the games again. Without a paid subscription. But we've kind of digressed here. Let's get to Monday's game. So again, Hurricane Ian pushed the game against Fort Pierce Central back to this Monday.
Yep.
And Vero Beach dominated. They won 47-7.
Yep.
Aronson again, 17 for 23, 293 yards, 5 touchdowns,
Amazing.
and a pick. And Jacobs, 8 catches, 194 yards, and four touchdowns.
I was looking at the stats yesterday. They had like 14 yards rushing.
Maybe. Well, actually, they had 8
yards.
It was 14 from the I forget who the running back was, but Aronson had -6, so they had 8 yards rushing, but 293 yards passing. So again, I mean, you're playing teams like Miami Palmetto. They're going to be close. They're going to be good. And no offense to Fort Pierce Central, my wife went there, so I got to pick on her a little bit. But those teams just are not going to compete against Vero this year.
Yeah, and we talk about Aronson and Van Jacobs every week, but Brock Thomas is a senior that caught a touchdown pass, so I do want to mention him in that game. He had 2 receptions and a touchdown catch. I've not seen his name much this year, so that has to be such a big thrill for him to catch in a high school game, packed Vero game.
For sure. Yeah, so that's the one other touchdown that Aronson threw.
Yeah, he's good. And SMU needs some quarterback help, so he can't come soon enough because they looked rough last night.
I was gonna say we'll get to UCF beating SMU later in our Gridiron Gab, but so Vero's 6-0 now. They're number 33 in the state, number 7 in 4S, number 3 in the West Palm Beach region. They play Wellington this Friday. Wellington is 3-2, and in my notes I have quote not very good.
Yeah, they've given up a bunch of points. I think they've given up almost 80 points.
Yeah, Vero might put 80 up.
Vero's still only giving up 30 points. I like where their defense is at, too. This is one of the things that we talk about all the time that frustrates us. You can't ever just find the stats for the game. So I have no idea who their leading tackler is or anything like that. But they've given up only 30 points through 6 games, and that's
I've noticed
impressive.
that Cooney is writing a little bit more about high school football. I think that we might be responsible
he listen to the
for
pod?
that. I think Cooney, you listening? All right, we need more defensive stats.
Yes.
Defensive metrics.
We need to talk about the defense.
I know Santucci got mad at us for calling him out.
But
he
did.
And Cooney's doing a good job. Again, I read an article yesterday that he was writing about high school football and local stuff, and I think that we're responsible for that, Mike.
We could be. I think maybe I talked to Santucci myself, and I think maybe he reached out to Cooney. Maybe we got a little something going there.
All right, we're going to have to tag him on Twitter on this. But, no, he's doing a good job. That's Vero.
Yeah.
So do you want to move on to, John Carroll?
Yeah, we're not going to – I don't think there's much to touch on with St. Ed's, right? They haven't played since our last pod.
Right.
So they're independent, so they can just kind of cancel their games, right?
I guess. Yeah, again, St. Ed's and Sebastian still throw me for a loop. We need to get somebody on from there. But St. Ed's canceled their game due to Hurricane Ian. The game before that we were not able to cover, St. Ed's got obliterated by Westminster Academy 48-6. Westminster was up 41-6 at halftime. Redmond, the kid that we like a lot, went 5 for 9 for 83 yards. He had 2 rushes for 8 yards and a catch for 11 yards. So he had the hat trick on passes, rushes, and receptions. This kid Sparkman actually came in at quarterback. It was 5 for 13 for 38 yards. And then receiver Sam Thomas had 2 catches for 73 yards in that game.
Yeah.
Again, that's the only game that they've played in the last 2 weeks. They are now 2-2. And they play Central Florida Christian Academy. Boy, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, on Friday. Sorry, this is Thursday that we're recording this. I think it'll be out today. So yeah, that's St. Ed's, and then Sebastian, same thing. They canceled their game. They play Heritage on Friday. Heritage is 1-4, and I will say, quote, not very good.
Not good.
So Sebastian should be all right. Sebastian might be 4-1 as an independent.
And they still have to play St. Ed's, right? That game got rescheduled?
Yeah, I think it got rescheduled to 10-10.
10-10, that's it.
So both of these teams that we just alluded to, St. Ed's and Sebastian, not only play on Friday, but they also play Monday is 10-10, right?
Is that right?
Yeah, I think
so.
They're
going to play them with 3 games, two days rest?
I guess so. Yeah.
We got to find a way to maybe make it to that game.
Yeah, I know. We keep saying that.
I know. Well, it got pushed. So.
Well, Monday's bowling night, Mike.
Never mind.
I'm not going to make a Monday game.
Kingpin.
Yep. So, Kingpin. So, all right. So that's St. Ed's. That's Sebastian. And then John Carroll, I really want to talk about. John Carroll's a fantastic team. They are the number 1 team in 1S. They're the number 6 team in the West Palm region. And they have dropped to number 54 because they got
smacked by Cardinal
Newman. Wow. How good must Cardinal... I didn't see the game. I don't know anything about it. How good... I don't even know if their stats up. How good must Cardinal Newman be? They beat John Carroll 40-7.
Yeah, they're good. I mean,
this team must be like really
they've
good.
scored 252 points on the year.
That is
6 games.
Lot of
That's
points.
a lot of points, more than Vero scored.
Yeah,
barely, but it is more. They've given up 71, so they're a good team, man.
Damn, Mike. I mean,
ranked number 15 in the state of Florida.
Okay, well, there you go. That's how good they are.
Number 2 in their division, which is 1M, which is it's funky. It's Metro, right? 1M is Metro.
Yeah, that's right. So they play in a metropolitan region,
and they're the number 1 team in West Palm.
So to give you some perspective, what'd you say? They're number 15 in the state?
Number 15 in the state.
So as much as we've talked about Vero and how good they are and how much, how great we think they are, they're ranked 33. So Cardinal Newman is 15. I mean, so John Carroll, it wasn't like they were playing a patsy, but they did lose 40-7. Before that, they did beat Bishop Moore 28-17. So I think John Carroll might be 5-1. I have in my notes 4-1, but again, I'm going to call it Ian Week threw me off.
That threw everybody off, I think.
And so are they 4-1 or 5-1?
I think they are. Let me look.
All right.
I just had it up, and it went back for some reason.
I want to say that they're 5-1.
You're going to guess 5-1.
That's my guess.
All right. As soon as this phone loads up, I'll let you know. They're 4-1.
4-1. I was wrong. 4-1. All right. So my notes somehow got updated to 4-1. I don't know.
You were wrong last week, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But now you're right.
All right. Well, I'm right. So
you're
4-1. All right.
And so they don't play this Friday, right?
That's a good question.
I got the schedule up. Let me look. They played Monday was when they got whooped by Cardinal Newman, right? 10-3, so they don't play again until 10-14.
So this makes a lot of sense. So before this recording, Mike and I were talking. John Carroll played Vero last night in a JV game. And someone said, hey, John Carroll's got an awful lot of varsity players playing tonight. And I was like, wow, that doesn't make sense. Why would they play on a Wednesday night and then they're going to play Friday? Well, they don't play Friday.
Right.
They're off this week.
They're off this week.
Okay.
So they got to get their guys some reps.
Yep. All right. So that makes a little sense. So
next game against Cardinal Mooney, the 14th.
Boy, I don't know about those Cardinals.
They're
Cardinal Newman
1-4.
Oh, okay. Well, I think they'll be all right. Yeah, all right. Cardinal Mooney.
They are not the same brand Cardinal.
A little different shade of red,
different Cardinals there.
Yep. So all right. So we got Vero, we got John Carroll, we got St. Ed's, we got Sebastian. Anything else that you want to talk about in our Treasure Coast chat?
That's it, man. I think we're good to go. I love where Vero's at. Looking forward to see what they do. They have a home game this week, and then they play away twice. There are only 2 away games the 2 weeks after that. So we're going to see where they really are.
All right. Well, that does it for Treasure Coast Chatter. Next, we're going to talk a little college football.
Let's go.
772 Sports is brought to you by Vero Beach Social Media, your local digital marketing agency. From Facebook advertising to graphic design to podcast production, Vero Beach Social Media has you covered. Contact them today at 772-999-6636 or visit VeroBeachSocialMedia.com. College football Gridiron Gab. All right, this is the segment of the pod where we talk a lot about college football. This is really Mike's thing. I sit back and pay attention and try and listen.
It was my thing before Miami lost to Middle Tennessee State.
Wow.
Can we talk about that since our last pod? I don't want to talk about it.
Maybe that's why you got.
That's why
sick
I got
and canceled
sick.
The last podcast was like
no, because I know you're not going to forget. We're going to talk about that.
I had forgotten until you just mentioned that.
No, you didn't.
But seeing as how you mentioned it, we'll talk about the Hurricanes first.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well call Tyler Van Dyke Taylor now and just stick with it.
I mean,
because I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, is he still a Heisman candidate?
No, man. Well, when we talked last week, he was the 21st ranked.
Yeah.
Draft prospect by Mel Kiper.
Where is he now?
He's not on there now.
Not there now.
We're not talking that this week, but he is not there.
All right, so just to recap, if you've lived under a rock and don't follow Florida college football, the University of Miami lost to Middle Tennessee State.
Unbelievable.
What was the final score of that game?
That
wasn't even close.
No,
was it? It was like a couple touchdowns.
Let me pull it up. They 45-31, and it really wasn't that close.
My
right?
goodness.
They scored some touchdowns. We scored some touchdowns late.
All right, Mike. I know you watched every play of that game. Give me the summary. What happened?
We stunk. They just went all around. There's nothing I can give you. The wide receivers were dropping passes when Tyler Van Dyke could throw it accurately. We were fumbling the football. We weren't tackling. I mean, it was an all around bad effort. They were not ready. So a couple players came out after the game and said, "We thought we were going to walk through them. We didn't prep right this week."
Did you see the Middle Tennessee State throwing shade at the Miami?
Yeah,
Miami program.
They deserved every bit of it. We paid them $1.5 million plus $30,000 travel expenses to come down and whoop us. Yeah. So, you can go two ways from this thing, right? This could either derail the season and we lose every game, or, it kind of lights a fire under everybody. We'll see what happens, but they have all their ACC. Every game left is ACC game. They haven't played one yet. So there's still stuff to play for, and hopefully that can motivate them.
Well, it was funny. I was talking to my buddy Joe Ehrman, who's a fellow Florida State fan,
and
we were talking about the next couple of games. Florida State's got to play North Carolina, and they got to play Clemson. And he's like, yeah, those are going to be – the next two games are tough. And I'm like, and I think after that they play Miami. And he was like, oh, psh. And I'm like – I don't know, man. I mean, like you said,
that game is always going to be tough.
Well, it's always going to be tough.
Always.
And whether it's just funny because, like you said, if this game motivates Miami, I'm not excited about playing them as a Florida State fan.
Yeah,
but if this is the true Miami team, wow, there's going to be some shakeups.
I mean, we're going to see a lot. They play North Carolina this week, so we're going to see where they're at. North Carolina can move the ball. They really don't have a very good defense, but. I would have said our defense was good until the last game.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what happens. So we know where we are there, and then they had a bye week, so we don't have much to talk about with them. They got whooped. It was embarrassing. I'm still wearing my Hurricane stuff.
Oh yeah, he's sporting it. We'll get a picture and post on Twitter.
But,
he's always got his Hurricane stuff on.
So let's sort of go to Florida State. They started out good, right, and then they beat Boston College,
right,
which we haven't talked about. They murdered
early,
Boston College,
right. Yeah, that was after Duquesne, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was just the 24th, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They beat Boston College, so we'll just go through. They beat Duquesne. They beat LSU, who's ranked now, so that really doesn't look like
wild.
that. I thought that they weren't going to be that good. I was wrong there.
We were calling them LS who.
They beat Louisville. Beat Boston College,
right.
Lost to Wake Forest.
And then they lost to Wake Forest. So I watched a lot of that game. And Florida State came out of the gate. I mean, they scored, 3 minutes into the game, 7-0. You're thinking, all right, man, we're cruising.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, 28 unanswered points for Wake Forest. I'll tell you what, they're not a bad team, Wake Forest.
Wake Forest is ranked.
Yeah,
and
they're good,
Their
man.
quarterback is a legit NFL quarterback.
This kid was for real. Now, here's what I will tell you. Florida State could not stop a third down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrible. It was like a 3rd and 6 first down, 3rd and 4 first down, 3rd and 8. So it's promising that they're getting teams to 3rd and something. But if you can't stop them from converting and you can't get your defense off the field, forget about it. And Florida State was in the game. I mean, they were a touchdown down with 9 minutes to go. Wake Forest kicked a field goal late to kind of seal the deal.
Yeah.
But, that it was a good game. Florida State played well. They proved that they're not there yet.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, and again, that's kind of what we've been saying all year. Again, I wanted Florida State to be bowl eligible. That was kind of my barometer for success this season. They've already got 4 wins.
Yeah, so they're close.
So they're going to get there. A couple tough games coming up. Yeah. And again, we're going to see what kind of team this is.
Well, this is a tough stretch, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. We'll go 6 games. Your 6 games, which we'll start with Wake Forest, who they lost, ranked team.
Right.
They play NC State, ranked
tough,
team.
Probably going to lose.
Clemson, top 5
Probably
team.
going to lose.
Georgia Tech,
beat them.
You'll murder them.
Well, I don't know. We're going to beat them. So there's your 5th win.
Florida State, Miami is always a tough game. Doesn't matter what team shows up where. That's going to be a tough game.
So we're still at 5 wins.
Florida State proved that last year, and then Syracuse, ranked team.
Ooh, and that's it. That's the end of the season.
No. And then you got Louisiana, you'll kill, and then you got Florida to end the season.
Well, there's 6 wins then. All right, so they should, if everything goes to plan, get at least their 6 wins. And again, for me, that's the barometer to a successful season for Florida State this year.
Yeah,
that's a realistic.
Yeah, coming off last year, that's I think.
So, but yeah, they're going to go through the gauntlet here, and they're going to lose some games, man.
Yeah,
I mean, they lost last week. They're going to lose this week. Well, we'll go through
NC State's good, really good, but I think they can be beat. Clemson is probably going to be a pretty tough game to win at Clemson. I think.
Man, it's that's not that's a game that Ohio State's win. That's a game that Alabama's and Georgia's win. That is not a game that Florida State wins. And again, Miami, Florida State could beat Miami. Florida State could beat Florida.
Absolutely.
Okay, but these are not gimmies.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah. Anyway, Florida State off the gate, people got really hyped. I tried to stay pretty, mellow about it because I think that Florida State fans are going to get a big dose of reality come early November.
Yeah.
When that record's 4-3 or 4-4, they're gonna be like, all right, this is the team that we really are.
Right.
Now, all that being said, they come out and they beat NC State. They come out, they beat Clemson.
Just keep it close versus Clemson, man.
But what I'm getting at is if they come out and they're like 6-1 or 7-2, somewhere in that range, hey man, we're a really good team. But I just don't see that happening. Do you?
I do not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of Florida State, but I am impartial, like as far as when we're talking.
Right.
And
you could be objective.
They can keep it close versus NC State, and then we'll see what happens versus Clemson. I think that's really where we're going to get a big barometer of where they are.
Yeah.
Probably not. They'll keep it close versus NC State, and then Clemson should pull away, which is about where you think Florida State is, like top of the middle pack.
Right.
And ACC play, I think.
Which, and in my opinion, they still should not be a ranked. They're not ranked.
They're not ranked.
They're
anymore.
not a top 25 team in the country.
No,
but they're in that 26 to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fine.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are you want to talk a little bit about the Gators?
Yeah.
Boy, they stink.
They lost. They lost?
They lost to Tennessee.
They lost to Tennessee, but then they played Eastern Washington or something and murdered them.
And that was a game, another game that was delayed by Hurricane Ian. They played on Sunday.
Yes.
Which threw me for a loop because I'm watching NFL and I'm getting updates about the Gator game and I'm like, what the hell? So I don't like that. I don't like Sunday college games.
Yeah, it's weird. And Wednesday college games are weird too.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So we'll talk about UCF in a minute, but yeah, so they played on Sunday. They won. I think they won handily, right? I mean, that was
52-17. I mean, Eastern Washington is.
But the Tennessee game, was that even close? What was the final score of that game?
It was 38-33. It was close. But, and Anthony Richardson finally threw a touchdown pass.
Oh, he's got one.
Which was nice because I couldn't figure out why that kid was so high on draft boards.
I know, and he didn't have a touchdown
pass.
Not even
a touchdown pass.
5th week of the college
Now
season.
He has 4. So
well, he must have thrown 3 against Eastern Washington.
He did, and something like that. 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So,
but he's higher than your boy Van Dyke.
Well, Van Dyke's off the cliff. I wouldn't be mad if he didn't start again, but we're gonna see where he's at. So they got Florida has Missouri, who always seems to play them tough this week. So we'll see how that goes. Then they have LSU. Georgia's going to be a bloodbath.
Florida might lose to LSU.
They could.
Yeah.
I would think LSU.
That's going to be a good game.
That's in Florida, so maybe LSU's not going to be favored. Florida will probably be a 2.5.
A quick 15-second story. My second favorite college game I've ever been to. I went to see Florida play LSU in the Swamp, and LSU won. And Joseph Adai was the running back for LSU at the time, and he just ran all over them. And it made my heart warm and fuzzy. Boy, it was amazing. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And watching Gator fans be dejected was a great feeling. But anyway.
So we'll see where they are. They're what, 3-2? 3-2 on the year. So not doing great. Yeah, 3-2. Do you want to talk some UCF or?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the game last night. I didn't even realize there was a college football game. It's Wednesday night. It's basically like the Sabbath for football fans. Like Tuesday and Wednesday are the 2 days that you don't expect any football. And I woke up this morning And I saw that UCF beat SMU, and I'm like, is this another delayed game from the Hurricane?
And it was.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
It was. They were supposed to play on the 1st, but that didn't work out.
Right.
So they played yesterday. Then
Wednesday football, no.
They killed them.
No, man.
I mean, I'm used to Wednesday football when I'm laying down and it's MAC teams.
MAC attack.
Yeah, MACtion.
Yeah, and that's fine, but yeah, UCF should not Wednesday. Yeah, no, I don't like it.
It's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about it. UCF won. They beat SMU.
Yep.
Which is where Aronson's going to be going. They could have probably used him.
Yes, they could have. So they're 4-1.
All right.
So they're good. I mean,
UCF is 4-1.
They play in the American.
But they lost to Louisville, right?
They lost. Let me look.
Yeah,
I want to double check. They lost to Louisville.
And Louisville's not good.
Louisville is not good.
Yeah.
So, but they beat South Carolina State, which obviously FAU is not very
Darius
good.
Leonard's still playing there. They're not.
They beat Georgia Tech. So
okay. So they haven't shown us anything yet.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. They play Temple this week, which I think will be.
Do they play a ranked team this year?
Cincinnati.
Okay, they're going to get destroyed by them. So
yes.
Who else?
That's it.
All right, let's talk about this for a second, Mike. I got some grievances.
Here we go.
I got some problems here. How can you consider yourself a legitimate program? I mean, UCF calls themselves former national champs, right? How are you?
They call themselves.
That's what I said. They call themselves. Nobody else calls them.
Adam Sharzan calls them that.
Right, Adam, shout out. How can you call yourself a legitimate college program and you play one ranked team the entire season? Now, listen, some of that is obligated because you have to play teams in your conference and they may not be ranked. All right, fine. You're out of conference games. You got to play. And actually, the one ranked team they play is in conference.
Yeah.
So how are you playing 0 out of conference games against a ranked team and call yourself a legitimate football program?
You would think, I don't expect that, which they do it anyway, but I wouldn't be so upset if an SEC team or an ACC team didn't play a ranked team out of conference.
Because they play 4 ranked teams in their conference.
Right.
All right, that makes sense.
But when UCF does it, it's like...
But when you're... All right. Florida State plays out of conference games against...
LSU.
Well, actually, I was going to say they play out of conference games against LSU, who's ranked.
Yes.
And in conference games against Clemson and North Carolina State, who's ranked.
Wake Forest,
But what I'm getting at is Florida can play in Eastern Washington because they got to play Georgia, because they got to play LSU, because they got to play these teams. So you can get away with playing an out-of-conference Eastern Washington game. But when all of the games that you're playing in conference are against non-ranked teams, you can't get away with playing unranked. You can't get away with playing. Well, I guess SMU's in the American, but you can't get away with playing these teams.
Not if you want to be taken serious. They're which they're already out of it. They have a loss, but if they were to come down to the end of the season undefeated, they wouldn't even be considered for
as they shouldn't be.
Right?
Why would you be considered?
Right.
So anyway, all right. I will.
That's it. I mean, I think that's it for the Florida schools we cover. I do want to talk I got one bullet point to talk about this week and see where you're at with that. Let me pull it up real quick.
Mike's got it in his organized notes.
I got it on my phone.
You don't have to ruffle through papers this time?
No, I do have papers still.
Oh, okay.
I multitask. Let's talk your boy Jimbo.
Jimbo, okay.
Let's talk about him. He's got to be close to being out of there, right?
I read that again. Okay, so let's back up. I read 3 weeks ago, that it was $90 million to get him out of his contract, right? And we talked about this. They had just lost, and then they were playing Miami the next week, and we had said, all right, well, if they lose to Miami, what happens? And I was like, nothing happens because it's $90 million. Now, I read yesterday, Texas A&M boosters have come out and said, if they want to fire Jimbo, they'll pay the buyout. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
$90 million for a guy that's been there, 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That is crazy.
And they play Alabama this week.
And they're going to get
ugly.
Murdered.
It's going to get ugly.
Oh, man. All right, so they play Alabama. They're going to get beat. Who do they play after that?
South Carolina.
Okay, they're going to beat them.
They'll probably beat. Ole Miss is ranked
they might lose to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is top 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
so they might lose 2 of the next 3.
So let's do it. They're 3-2 now. They're going to lose to Bama, right? So they'll be 3-3. They'll beat South Carolina 4-3. Lose to Ole Miss 4-4.
They're going to be 4-4. Oh my God! Are they going to be bowl eligible?
Florida, Texas A&M is a toss-up. You'd say, right? 50-50.
A&M's probably going to win that game.
Then they play Auburn, who's the same record as them. Then they play UMass and then LSU.
Oh man, there's a pathway for them to only win 5 games this year.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
The only game you could look on
Florida
here.
State end with a better record than Texas A&M after Jimbo left?
That would be
Mike,
amazing.
you're blowing my mind.
They played. So the only 2 guaranteed wins I would give them on here is South Carolina, just because they've shown nothing, right? I would give them
late. They play UMass.
They play
right?
UMass.
Okay.
I actually won't even give them the South Carolina game because.
Well, I'll give them South Carolina and UMass. That gets them 6 wins. Okay.
They're 3-2 right now. They give them 5 wins.
Oh, well, yeah. There's there's 2. South Carolina, UMass, and
LSU. I'm not giving them. Auburn. I'm not giving them. Florida's going to be a toss-up. Ole Miss is going to spank them. Alabama's going to spank them.
Oh my God. They're going to be playing in like the Blockbuster Bowl or whatever. I don't know.
The 6-6.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Aloha Bowl.
The Emerald Bowl.
The Emerald Nuts Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is wild, man. This is mind blowing.
I wanted to get your
All right, so here's my
take on that before we get into the pick.
I don't have a take. I mean, again, I knew that they were 3-2, and I knew that they were struggling, and I knew that boosters were talking about firing them. But man, if they go 6-5 or 6-6, I guess, or 7-5,
yeah.
I guess he keeps his job, right? You're in a bowl. You're probably going to win your bowl game.
I don't know that that's what they're looking for.
Oh, man. Okay, and then, all right, so Jimbo's gone. Who do you get? That's the other thing is firing a guy's half of it. You got to find a guy to fill the spot. And we talked about this with Norvell. And again, Norvell's doing well now. And, but this was kind of preseason, first week stuff. But, yeah, all right, so firing Norvell, all right, great. Who do you bring in? Florida State could bring in like a Deion Jackson or Deion Sanders or something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know what Texas A&M does.
While we're on this, you said Deion Sanders. There's been a lot of talk of Georgia Tech making a serious run at him. They just fired their coach.
Yeah. I don't think he'll go to Georgia Tech. I think he likes what he's doing at Jackson State.
He does.
I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's funny, only because I own a digital marketing company. He said he uses social media as a recruiting tool because it's free. And he says that no other program is using social media like Jackson State is to recruit players. And that was amazing to me.
Yeah.
But he's brilliant. And he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
I don't know how good on the field he is.
Right.
He's great with the players. He's great at recruiting. He would be huge for Georgia Tech, but I can't see him wanting to go there.
Georgia Tech is maybe a good stepping stone to Florida State. Like I see him at Florida State within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's maybe a good step. They're probably a bottom tier ACC school.
Yeah. He'd be in Atlanta.
They're in Atlanta, which is a good recruiting
hotbed
area.
For him. Yep.
I could see it happening, especially if they drop the pocketbook on him, the wallet on him.
It's going to cost. It's going to cost some money. But that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're going to make a run at him. But you ready to do some pick'em and see where we're at?
We got to move on from this segment because we got a lot of baseball to talk about.
Yeah, so we had 2 weeks of pick'em while we were gone with the hurricane, and then I was sick last week. But week 4 we both went 8-2, so solid week for both of us.
Okay, so we tied. We were tied.
We were tied 20-9.
We tied that week.
We tied that week for 8-2 each, and
so
then
we're 28-11 going into last week.
And then I'm gonna call it just me being sick or something. COVID brain. I didn't have COVID, but
cold brain.
So yeah, I went 4-6 last week,
and I went
7-3.
I like it. Let's do that again.
The non-college guru smoked me.
So I got a 3-game lead.
You do. You're 35-14. I'm 32-17. So
I'm 35-14
overall.
All right. Man, that's better than my NFL ratio, I think.
Well,
we'll find out.
We will find out.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with my performance. Okay, so you ready? You want to do some pick'em?
Let's do it.
I got 11 games this week. I don't know how I ended up with 11, but
we got 11.
I usually do all 3 Florida teams and then a couple ranked, but I forgot about Miami. I was trying to get them out of my head.
Forgot about Miami.
Forgot about them.
The Miami fan forgot about Miami. Makes sense.
Okay, number 8 Tennessee at 25 LSU. Tennessee's favored by 3.
I'm going to take Tennessee, even though it's in the Bayou.
I also take Tennessee.
Yep.
I like them. I like their quarterback. We'll see. I hate Brian Kelly, so that's a story for another day.
Yep.
But number 17 TCU against number 19 Kansas.
Ooh,
that's a story in itself. Kansas being ranked is unbelievable. They were the worst football team in America for a long time.
Yep.
TCU is favored by 7.
I'm taking TCU. Kansas has to lose. They've got to lose at some
I got
point,
TCU.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
I got TCU and maybe more than 7.
What's the line in that game?
-7.
TCU -7.
TCU. Yep. I got 2-3 Missouri at Florida, 3-2. Florida's favored by 11. Missouri always plays them close. I think I'm going to go Florida.
Yeah, Florida's going to win that game.
Especially at home. we didn't cover this much, but Oklahoma lost last week, which was a bit of a shocker. But
wild.
Texas, 3-2 Texas at 3-2 Oklahoma. This is the Red River Shootout. Always a good game. Texas is favored by 7.
Texas is favored by 7. I'm going to take Oklahoma.
Texas 7.
Yeah, that. I know that surprises you. I'm going to take Oklahoma.
No, I was going to take them too. I think I'm.
That's a big line. That's another Vegas.
It scares me to take Texas when they're I was completely content taking Texas, but I don't know now. I'm just going to go Texas. I have to make up some games somewhere.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a big line for me to cover. Seven
that's
points.
A big one. Here's a big line, and I put it in here because I didn't have so many good games this week. But 3-2 Auburn at Georgia. Georgia's minus 30.
Well, Georgia's going to win. They're not going to win by 30.
All right.
They're not going to win by 30. But Georgia's going to win.
By a bunch. Maybe not 30.
Probably 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. 30 points against Auburn in a relatively rivalry game. I mean, that's a lot of points.
That is.
And Auburn's not that bad. They're 3-2, but they're not horrible.
No.
Yeah. 30 is a lot of points in an intra-conference mild rival game. I'll take Georgia, but they're not covering.
Yes, I agree. Ranked versus ranked game. Number 11 Utah at number 18 UCLA. Utah's 3.5 favorites.
Man, I am not a Utah fan. I'm not. It's in California.
In Cali, I'm taking Utah.
I'm going to take UCLA. So we've got another difference.
Yep, I like it. I could easily see UCLA winning that game.
I'm just not high on Utah.
No, I could be at home. I could totally see Chip Kelly's still UCLA coach, right? I think so. Chip Kelly, they got a good coach.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know their coaches.
This is another one that's normally a good game. Number 3 Ohio State at 2-3 Michigan State. OSU's favored by a ton.
Yeah, they're going to win by a ton.
Michigan, yeah, I take them too. Michigan State just always seems to find a way to play Ohio State tough. Not this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Ohio State's going to win, and I think they cover. I don't think Michigan State's very good at all.
4-1 Washington State, not ranked, versus number 13 USC. Or no, USC. Let me just check this. I think
Washington State's playing USC.
Yes, I know they're playing. Is USC ranked?
Yeah, they're like number 6.
Okay, I didn't put that on here. Okay.
All right.
And USC's favored by 13.
Yeah, and they're going to win.
Yeah.
I got USC.
Agree. So here you go. I got you down for FSU versus FSU at NC State.
Oh, NC State's going to murder them. And I think the line is small,
It's
right?
3.
Yeah.
At 3 at NC State. So
that should
they
be
basically
like
get
23.
the home field advantage.
That is not again, that's a Vegas trap.
I have NC
but
State
I'm
as
taking
well.
NC State.
A game that Jimbo needs to find a way to win. I put this on here because they won last year, but Texas A&M 3-2 at Bama. Are they number 1 or 2? 2.
They go back up to 1?
Did they?
They're
Georgia struggled
1.
last week. So yeah, okay. So number 1 Bama minus 24.
All right, so here's the deal. This is a must-win for Jimbo, and the last time he had a must-win, he won. He's not going to win this week.
The old rope-a-dope.
Nope, he's not going to win this week.
Nope. So old Jimbo's going to be 500 with that, with what he gets paid and what they spend on recruiting and what they paid their recruits this last year in NIL deals.
Yep.
That's crazy. And then last game, 4-1 North Carolina at Miami. Somehow Miami's favored in this game by 3.5. 2-2 Miami. 4-1 North Carolina. I'm a Miami homer.
All right,
so I'm
going to take North Carolina just to be contrary. But is this a must-win for Cristobal?
No.
No
way.
Okay.
He doesn't have any of his. He's not starting any of his players yet. He's only had a piece of a recruiting class.
Yep.
He wants to run a power spread. There's just not the players for it.
Gotcha.
His top 3 running backs are hurt. Wide receivers can't catch the ball.
You're making me want North Carolina even more. I like it.
Yeah,
I like
yeah. No must wins till probably year 3. I'd think.
Gotcha.
But that being said, he's the kind of coach to find a way to win this game.
Yeah.
But, he also loses games he should win. So
well, like Middle Tennessee State.
We'll see what
Trap
happens.
Games.
But I got to catch up. Curtis is smoking me.
All right. Well, that's it for college football. We ran this segment really long. So, what do we have next, Mike? What do we do? Oh,
well, what do you want to do next?
Baseball.
We doing baseball?
We got to do baseball next.
Oh, playoffs.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Around the horn. All right, so we're going to talk a little baseball. I want to preemptively apologize. This is going to be a long segment.
Playoffs. Best time of year.
Oh, man. How can you beat October?
You can't.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I sort of like how the season is a week or 2 later because now we still have full-on baseball. We got NFL. We got NCAA. It was
basketball and hockey's got preseason going on.
You still got your MLS.
Yep.
Soccer, Orlando City.
We don't talk about them.
What happened?
Well, they lost last night to Miami like bad. And I think I got to look at the table, but I think they have to win Sunday to make the playoffs.
You going?
It's home. It's a 2:00 game, but it's a Sunday. How do I miss? All right, here's a question for all you listeners. How do I miss all the NFL games on Sunday for a soccer game?
I don't. So
no, I can't.
Other than USA, other than Team USA, I've never watched a whole soccer season ticket holder. And what side? Remember, there's two sides you go down. You were explaining it to me.
What do you mean?
It's like there's two sections of the sides. Like you can sit on. I'll have to listen to the last pod.
Yeah, I don't know.
You were sitting in the wrong section last time, and they were trying to make you move.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. So, before we get really to baseball, we're going to do soccer because we don't really have a soccer segment. So, we're going to kick it off. That's what I'm going to call it. So, you like that? I just
kick it off.
Kick it off.
I like it.
All right. So, So, when Orlando City was in the U.S. Open Cup final, there were supporter section areas that were designated for those specific supporter groups. So one is called the Ruckus, which I'm a member of, and one is called Iron Lion Firm, which I'm not a member of, but again, they're all fans. So Iron Lion Firm had this section reserved, and we're Ruckus members, and we stood in the reserved Iron Lion Firm place, and they tried to get us to move, and I said, we're not moving. We're just not moving. So, so that's what you're talking about.
Yep,
so we stand on the wall, and it's a big supporter thing. And if you're ever watching an Orlando City game and you see all the smoke and all that, that's right where we stand, and it's a blast. But I will not be watching our final regular season game. Well, I'll watch it, but I won't be there.
You have 7 TVs. I mean, you'll find a way to get it on.
I had to put a 5th TV out this Sunday because Aaron Judge was going for 62. So
it's a good segue. You want to talk stats before we get into playoffs?
Let's do it. All right, so we're really doing baseball now. Sorry for the diversion there. Kick it off segment is over. We're back to Around the Horn. And, all right, so let's just kind of recap the regular season, the 2022 regular season. Mike, is this, and this was going to be in my factor cap, but we'll get there. Is this the coolest regular season when it comes to career and annual stats? Meaning, Judge breaks the American League home run record, the non-steroid all-around home run record. Pujols gets 700 home runs. Miguel Cabrera gets 3,000 hits. Wainwright and Molina catch the most games ever in the history of baseball. Is there a season riddled with stats like that you can remember in recent memory?
So there's not, and does it make it more cool? Like for me, because I'm old enough to where these guys. A lot of these guys started when I was in my, early 20s, mid 20s, and now I'm in my early 40s, and they're
seeing their whole career,
starting to hit these records, and it's fun to watch.
I mean, I remember Cabrera coming on the scene in that 2003 World Series with the Marlins.
I can't.
He's got 3,000 hits. He's an old man.
I can't think of an overall more fun season.
Yeah. And being Dodger fans.
Dodger wins
111
games, and then their playoff seeding, which I have a problem with.
Oh, Mike's got some complaints, and you're going to hear about.
We're going to get into it. But yeah, I can't remember one. You completely undersold what Pujols was going to do.
I did. I thought he was going to be stuck at like 698. What did he hit? 703?
Right?
Okay.
It was,
I'm 5 off.
So, yeah, not too bad.
No.
No, yeah, I would say this is one of the more fun seasons. This is, I can remember turning off stuff I would normally watch to watch Aaron Judge at bats and stuff like that, which was cool.
Well, on Saturdays, they were like intervening into college football games.
Yeah,
to show
which the college football fans had a real problem with.
Yep.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
I love both. I love to see. The split down the middle, and I don't know how I'm so impartial on this, but the split down the middle between half the people saying that Bonds and Sosa and all them aren't the home run records, and half the people saying that it's, there's just such a split.
I think the way that I segment that in my mind is Bonds is the all-time home run record with 73, but he goes into a special subsection of records, which, again, you can't tell me that I'm going to make up some numbers here, from 1995 until 2003, let's say those 8 years.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that the 4 greatest hitters of all time played in those 8 years. That just in 130 years of Major League Baseball history, when you're spanning from Babe Ruth to Aaron Judge, okay, you can't tell me that the 3 greatest hitters of all time played in just those 8 years.
Power hitters.
That just Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds. You can't tell me that there's not something there's not a data outlier there.
Right.
And there is, and it's steroids. Okay.
Right.
And so knowing that Bonds has 73, and so somebody hit 74. Yes, technically speaking, he's the record holder. But that doesn't mean that you can't acknowledge and you can't appreciate somebody doing it clean, hitting 62.
Right.
There's not a cognitive dissonance there to me. I can hold both truths simultaneously and feel good about it.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge did an incredible thing. He hit 62 home runs clean. Nobody's ever done it.
Yep.
That's special. That's cool. But people have major problems with this.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just seen such strong arguments on both sides, and I'm like, I guess I'm sort of right down the middle. Like, I'm able to appreciate. Appreciate's not the right word, because I wish they wouldn't have cheated, but I'm able to see what Bonds and McGwire and Sosa did. Like, what McGwire and Sosa did, I'll never forget. That home run chase, man. It was great.
It was tainted.
I really feel like that saved baseball from the non-base. Like, you and I were always going to watch. The baseball purists were always going to watch. But I think that sort of...
Well, people forget, there was a strike literally like 4 years before that.
Right.
And lost a lot of baseball fans. And, they recaptured. And there's documentaries you can watch and all that. But they recaptured the heart of baseball being America's pastime.
Right.
Cheat or not cheat, they did that.
Yeah.
And McGwire hit 70 home runs. Right. I think the reason why people are on Bonds a little bit more is, number one, he didn't have competition. Number two, he was kind of an asshole. I mean, like, the media hated him. He was really, like, not nice.
Yeah.
But he had no competition. So it was like, he was just completely dominating. And it was known while he was doing it that he was on steroids.
He never admitted it, right, though? Like,
no, but his hat size went from a 7.25 to an 8.5.
But you don't see the transformation in his body, like, almost between one set of seasons. Right? Like, he comes in and all of a sudden he's Andre the Giant.
Bro, go look at his rookie card.
Yeah.
He was smaller than me.
Yep.
Well, and that's not saying much, but
so
I've gotten kind of fat. But, he was like 150 pounds.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that being said, my factor cap to you will come later, but I think that this 2022 MLB regular season definitely deserves some acknowledgement.
Sure.
Just for all the great things that we saw this year.
I agree. And you didn't even mention Shohei.
Well,
something we've never seen ever.
Yep.
Right? So Aaron Judge is going to win the MVP, and I've resigned the fact that's fine. He deserves it. But when you have a guy that has more home runs, like I shared this yesterday, and I get it, like Stanton was hurt, but he had more home runs than Giancarlo Stanton, higher batting average than Mookie Betts, lower ERA than Garrett Cole, and more strikeouts than Verlander.
Yeah.
One guy did that.
Yeah, it's wild that you're right. Of all the things that I mentioned, I didn't mention... Probably, and again, I'll make this argument. I'll fight tooth and nail. Probably the greatest season a baseball player's ever had, and he's not going to win MVP.
Right.
That's nuts.
That's wild.
That goes to show you how amazing this 2022 season is.
And I'm on the fence with those two too. Like, I would be actually more than ecstatic.
If I had a vote, I would vote Ohtani. I understand that he's not going to win, but that's my vote.
I would as well.
It's the greatest season that a major league player has ever had, hands down. And again, fight me on that. It's the greatest season a baseball player's ever had, period.
You're not going to get a fight from me, man. You know how much I love them. I'm reading a book about, and I'm going to give it to you to read afterwards. It is freaking. I'm through the first chapter and just started the second, and it's just.
It's called Showtime, right?
Showtime. Yep. He ate
SHOH time, something like that.
He ate 10 bowls of rice a day growing up to bulk up.
Wow.
It's a crazy story. We won't get into it, but
all right, so regular season's over.
Yep.
Dodgers have the franchise record, 111 wins. They're the number one seed overall. I mean, they have home field advantage through the World Series if they get there. The Astros, I'm not even looking at notes. I'm just kind of going off memory, so correct me if I'm wrong. The Astros have the number one seed in the American League. I think they had 106 wins.
They were, let me see.
I mean, that's a great season.
106 wins.
Yeah, 106 wins.
To not even be, they're 5 games behind what the Dodgers did.
Yeah. And so who's the 2 seed in the American League?
Yankees.
The Yankees. Okay, so they get a bye. And the Braves are the 2 seed. Wow. Talk about some momentum. So let's talk about that for a second.
Let's talk.
The Mets had a 2-game lead and the tiebreaker over the Mets had a 2-game lead and a tiebreaker over the Braves. Going into the second to last series of the season. The Braves sweep the Mets to take a lead, and then they clinched the other night. The Braves clinched because they beat the Marlins, which was kind of a joke that they played the Marlins and the Mets played the Nationals. But the Braves coming back with only 6 games to go from basically a 2.5 game deficit, let's say, to win the division and take the 2 seed. So now they have the bye and they can set their pitching up. The Mets, the Mets are in trouble, man.
They are. So
right? The Cardinals are the 3 seed, the Mets are the 4, the Padres are the 5, and
Phillies.
The Phillies are the 6.
Yeah. Right. So I just, I don't understand, and this is what I have a problem with, how Miami or LA wins 111 games, and they're guaranteed to play the 4 or 5 seed.
Right. So the argument is if the Phillies beat the Cardinals.
Yes. That could happen easily.
I mean, it's a 3-game set, right?
Yeah, 3 games.
Okay. So anything can happen in 3 games.
Yep.
All right. So your argument is if the Phillies beat the Cardinals and the 6 seed advances, why aren't they playing the 1?
Why aren't they playing the? Yeah.
I agree.
Why do we have to play the Mets in the second round? I don't think the Padres are very good. I think the Mets are probably going to sweep them. But why are we playing the Mets and not the Phillies? How does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree. And so who came up with the idea, or why is it a fixed bracket?
I don't know. MLB came up with it. I have no idea why.
So for those of you that don't understand what we're talking about, the number 1 and the number 2 seeds get buys. Okay, the 3 plays the 6 and the 4 plays the 5.
Yep, 3-game series, 3 games in a row at one park at the higher seeds park.
Right, which makes sense. All right,
yep,
there's
an
advantage
there.
We're good
there.
That. All right. So then, normally in most sports, what you do is you kind of, once that first round is over, you reorganize the bracket so that the lowest ranked seed, so for instance, in this case, the Phillies would be the 6th seed, the lowest ranked seed, would play the highest rank, which would be the Dodgers. But for some reason, Major League Baseball came up with this idea to have what we're calling a fixed bracket. So 6 plays 3. Yep. And then the winner of that will play the 2 seed. Presuming
Atlanta. Yep.
Major League Baseball is presuming the 3 seed's going to win, but I don't know how you make that assumption.
I don't know how you do it. I mean, the Phillies have Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. Like how?
Dude, in 106. All right, I'm curious. How many win difference? What's the win difference between the Phillies and the Cardinals this year? And I'm putting you on the spot because I know you don't have it ready. But I'm curious, how many more wins?
93 for, you said Cardinals?
Phillies and Cardinals.
93 for St. Louis, 87 for Philly.
All right, so in 162 games, there was a 6-game difference, okay?
Yep.
You're trying to decide. I mean, that's like 99%. Like, they're the same team with the exception of 6 games. You're using a 3-game set to figure out who the better team is there. They're effectively the same team. They're equal. And there's a 3-game set. And you're going to assume that the 93-win team is so much better than the 87-win team? I don't get that.
I don't get it, man. I have a big problem with the way that that's going down.
Yeah. Anyway.
The fact that we might have to play the Mets in the second round and the Braves are going to get to play the Phillies probably. Yeah. Or, not probably. Cardinals. It may end up being not even a point because the Cardinals are probably going to win that. And then,
well, I think it is going to be a point in the American League side.
It could be.
So let's go over there. So the Rays are the 6th seed.
Yep.
And they're playing
the Guardians.
The Guardians, who are the 3 seed. Okay. In my pick'ems, which we'll get to, I'm taking the Rays.
Yeah.
In which they're going to play the 2 seed, not the 1. Not fair.
Yep.
Not fair. It's just not fair. So I think you've got a valid complaint.
Yeah.
I'm very honest. I would tell you if you didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what the thought process was behind that, right? Yeah. Because they're all going to have to travel. Either way you look at it, they're all it's not a travel thing. Like one of those teams is going to have to travel to LA or to New York. Either way you look at it.
Right.
So
anyway, that's Mike's complaints. You've heard about it.
Yes.
Let's do some pick'ems for the playoffs.
Let's do it.
All right. I don't have anything in front of me, so I'll go off of your.
We're gonna go round by round because we'll be back next week, so we're not.
Okay.
We could pick all the way through if you want.
I'm gonna pick all the way through.
Let's pick all the way through then.
All right.
Let's do whatever you want to do.
All right, I like that.
Okay, so we'll start in the American League.
Okay.
Tampa Bay versus Cleveland.
I'm taking Tampa to beat Cleveland.
I'm taking Tampa as well.
Okay.
But I had to think about it a lot.
It's tough. It's tough to see that 6 versus 3.
Yeah.
I just think that Tampa, all right, they may not have as many wins. Actually, they might have more wins than Cleveland. I mean, they had to fight through the AL East. But I don't know. I just think that Tampa's a better team.
Yeah.
I think Tampa's a very good baseball team.
I do too. I definitely do.
And for them to be a 6 seed is, it's unfortunate for them, but I think they beat Cleveland. All right, so what's the next?
I am, let's see, Blue Jays, Mariners.
Blue Jays, Mariners. I am going to take the Blue Jays. They're the 4 seed.
I love the story. I love what the Mariners are doing. I could absolutely see them beating the Blue Jays. But I'm also going to take the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
there's too much firepower there.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're good. And Seattle is okay. I don't think Seattle's great. They're good.
Yeah. So okay, let's go to the NL side.
All right.
We'll go straight through the rounds.
All right.
Mets Padres. And I can go first in the National League if you want.
I don't care. I mean, I've got who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the Mets.
Yeah, me too.
I think the Padres. Listen, I would love to face the Padres as a Dodger fan.
I would too.
But I think the Mets you're going to put DeGrom and Scherzer out there for 2 of those 3 games, and I think that's all it's going to take.
Yeah. I love the Mets there. I think they may with starting Scherzer, DeGrom 1-2. That could be a quick 2-game series. Mets get a little break, set their rotation a little bit. Okay, so Cardinals, Phillies.
I got Cardinals. Phillies are good. Don't get me wrong, and I know that you made the argument that if the Phillies win, it's not fair. I think that's a moot point.
I got Cardinals as well.
Yeah.
I just think they're too much. Paul Goldschmidt, who's going to win the MVP in the National League. That's something. You know what I mean? To have that guy.
I mean, they've got the rotation. They've got. I mean, they're set.
Yeah.
Cardinals are again very good team.
Yep. Okay, so let's start back at the top. We'll go Astros, Blue Jays.
All right, so we both have the Blue Jays, so I'm going to have Houston winning that.
I have Houston winning as well.
All right, and we both have the Yankees and Rays. I'm going to take Yankees.
I'm going to take Yankees as well. We're both the same.
All right.
I'm completely homer on this. I've got the Dodgers. Not even homer, though. I think they're the better team overall.
I think the Dodgers beat either the Mets or the Padres. We both have the Mets, though. So, yeah, I think the Dodgers beat the Mets. I think the Mets are just going to be worn out. They're just beat up.
Yeah.
I think they're dejected from not winning that division.
Yeah.
I think they're going to cruise through San Diego, but then they're going to get to L.A. And listen, L.A.'s a giant. 111 wins.
Yep.
I think that the Dodgers win that.
Yep.
And then we both have St. Louis and Atlanta.
Yep, and I have Atlanta winning that.
Me too.
They're going to be a little too much, I think. So we're chalk in the far as who makes
we're not
it
chalk because we have Tampa.
Well, I mean, as far as just
we
who
have
makes
1
it
and
to
2
the
going.
1 and 2 going to the Final Four.
So you have the Yankees and the Astros.
Yep.
Who do you have?
I'm going Astros.
Me too. All right.
I'm going Astros, Dodgers.
I'm going Braves. I think the Braves beat the Dodgers.
Really?
I do. I'm not thrilled with how the end of the Dodgers season is gone, and it's a result of them playing so well,
right?
Which sounds kind of funny,
right?
But I don't like the idea of going into the playoffs not having to win a game for 2 weeks. I mean that's I think that it's a mindset.
That is wild.
I think baseball is a game of momentum. I think Atlanta has tons of momentum right now. I mean, they've got to be on cloud 9. They're going to come in. I think they're going to smoke St. Louis or Philadelphia, but I think it'll be St. Louis. I think they may. Listen, I mean, this is just a projection. I think they beat the Dodgers in like 5 or 6 games.
You don't think that the Dodgers are going to be past that by the time they have a 4 or 5 game series against the Mets?
I don't know.
Is it 5?
I think that goes to 7.
Is it 7? The first
7, 7, 7 after the.
So it's 3 and then 7s all the way through.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have to. I
know you have the Dodgers.
I think the Dodgers have enough.
Yeah, I'm making my point that Atlanta's going to have momentum, man.
No, I think it's a valid concern that Dodgers haven't had to be up for the last 2 weeks. Like they've sort of clinched their spot 2 weeks ago. And you're either love the kind of rest they were able to get and being able to relax and not really do anything, or you hate it. But I could see the Braves winning that. I could.
Yeah. But you got the Dodgers. So that's the only difference that we have.
Yeah.
And then we have in the World Series, you have Dodgers and Astros.
Yep.
I have Braves and Astros.
Yes.
So you got?
I got Dodgers winning.
Okay. I have the Astros winning.
Yeah.
I don't see a hole in the Astros. So for the Dodgers, let's get there.
Yeah.
For the Dodgers, we have no closer. We're going to lose 3 games in the playoffs at some point thanks to bullpen and closer problems.
Well, do you see Kimbrel making the postseason roster?
Okay, so who's the closer?
Phillips.
Okay, how many games does he close this year?
It doesn't matter to me.
I know it doesn't matter to you.
That dude is filthy.
But what I'm getting at is if Phillips is going to be the closer in the playoffs, why hasn't Dave Roberts used him at all this season in the closer role?
It seems like he's just used him in higher leverage situations. And, Dave Roberts does things sometimes that we text each other and we're like, what is going on?
Yeah, listen, and I've said this for a long time. I think the Dodgers win despite Dave Roberts being the manager, not because of Dave Roberts being the manager. But, I think that, and again, I'll put this on Roberts. You've waited too long. You've had all this time.
Yeah.
And this big-ass lead. Why did you continue to push Kimbrel when you know he's not the guy?
Yeah.
So how come for the last 2 or 3 weeks Phillips hasn't been the closer?
Just I don't get, like, I'm with you, and I don't get the love affair with Kimbrel. Like, we've said this from the beginning of the podcast.
He had it with Jansen. He's always had it with the closer.
You don't have to fall in love with your closer, man. Stop it. Like, Kimbrel is a free agent after this year. You owe him nothing.
As far as I'm concerned, he should be a free agent right now.
Yeah, I mean,
like you said, he shouldn't make.
I would have DFA'd him a long time ago. But
here's my guess. Here's a hot take. Kimbrel makes the postseason roster, and he's the closer. It's a wild notion to anybody that doesn't follow Dodger baseball, but even you maybe. I mean, that sounds insane.
I can't argue it.
But Dave Roberts is going to pull that
because
shit.
You just said it. You text me yesterday. Well, there he is. He looks like freaking Mariano Rivera.
All right, so in a game that literally doesn't matter, the Dodgers play last night or yesterday afternoon, in a game that doesn't matter, Kimbrel comes in the 8th inning, pop, 3 strikeouts. He looks amazing.
Yep.
Dave Roberts sees that and thinks, oh, he's cured, he's fixed. And it's like, no, man, there's a game that doesn't matter against a team that sucks.
Half of a Rockies team. They're playing half the team. It's like...
Right. A Rockies team that already sucks.
Listen,
and they're playing
man.
The half that sucks
Listen, man.
worse.
If Kimbrel closes any of these games that we're not up by like 5 or more runs, you and I are going to have a serious talk.
Are we going to have to start a petition?
We might.
Dude, I'm getting tired of writing letters to Jim Irsay, and I got to write them to folks to Andrew Friedman or Dave Roberts.
I get what you're saying about Dave Roberts, and I agree. He makes some of the most boneheaded plays. I don't remember, and pitching is ultimately where it's won, but I don't remember us having a deeper lineup than we have right now.
That is the nice thing, is that right now it doesn't look like we're going to have a problem scoring runs.
Yeah.
But I've seen this before.
Right.
I've seen this play out. When we lost to the Braves, we had a lineup that broke the National League record for runs scored in a season.
Yep.
Couldn't score runs. So bats go cold in the playoffs.
There were games this year where we've talked during games and we haven't scored. There's 2 or 3 games in a row where we don't score runs.
Yeah.
Like, what are we? 0 runs, 1 run with that lineup.
It happens.
So I wanted your thoughts real quick before we move on. So a guy like Gallo, do you see him making the postseason roster?
I mean, again, I don't put him on the roster. I see him making it because they're going to want to put him in as a pinch hitter against a righty. But I'm telling you right now, a guy that strikes out 4 out of 5 times does not deserve a roster.
Anything for him though defensively? I think he's pretty elite in the outfield.
He's really good defensively, but I think Trace Thompson's just as good, and I think he's the guy that deserves that spot.
I guess
he's going to have.
He's going to have a spot. I think it would be. That last roster spot is probably going to come down to Lux, Gallo.
Yeah, I like Lux in a pinch hitting spot better than I like Gallo. I want a guy that can get a hit. I don't need a home run.
I think I like Lux better in a pinch hitting spot, but if we're going just strictly like we need a fielder for the last 2 innings, I would love to have Gallo out there.
Yeah, but here's my question: why are you taking Trace Thompson off the field or Chris Taylor off the field or whoever? They're good defenders.
I think Gallo is defensively.
Just much better,
way better.
Gotcha.
And we've seen what Chris Taylor does in the playoffs. Remember, some of those catches he's made. Oh my God,
man! That catch he had in Milwaukee was one of the greatest catches of all time.
He's sort of been struggling this year, all around.
Yeah, well, he was hurt.
He was hurt.
But I don't like to make excuses, and excuses don't matter in the playoffs. But he's been hurt, so I don't know. I mean, maybe you make a good point. You could probably talk me into keeping Gallo there and taking Lux off. But here's how I look at that. So most teams want a power hitter. They want a home run in a can, right? For a pinch hitter. The Dodgers don't need that,
right?
Because the next batter is always a home run potential guy,
right?
So all right, so you're going to take, again, let's say Trace Thompson or Chris Taylor, whoever out. Who's going to be the next batter? Cody Bellinger?
Right.
Well, that's home run in a can. All right. Or are you going to take someone out and Will Smith is on deck? That's a home run in a can.
Yep.
Freddie Freeman, home run in a can.
Mookie Betts,
home run in a can. Everybody's got home run potential.
Yeah.
On one swing. So if you're a team that struggles with power, or struggles offensively, you need that Gallo there to get that run or those 2 runs.
Right.
When you're pressed against the wall, but the Dodgers have it.
Yeah.
So
my argument for Gallo.
I like your argument defensively.
Yes.
I was thinking more as a bat.
Right.
I like your argument as him as a defensive replacement.
Yeah.
But God, I get scared when I see him come to the plate.
Yeah, I mean, I would be terrified if you have the way the year's gone, him, Muncy, and Bellinger.
Oh God,
I mean, that's a wasted inning.
Those are 3 strikeouts.
Almost.
Yeah. Which is so funny because we're talking about how much potential the Dodgers offense has, and we're scared of a third of their lineup being.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think you bring Gallo in and then you pull him for a pinch hitter.
Yeah. So the 4 starters for the Dodgers, you see it being Kershaw, Urias, Tyler Anderson.
Hadn't thought about it.
If they have to use a 4th.
Gonsolin,
good. Yeah, good. I'm worried
he's got
about
one
him.
loss. He's 17-1.
I'm worried about him being built up, which I guess they can piggyback. They're pretty good at that.
I mean, here's one thing that Roberts does do well is he pulls guys when they should be pulled.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's too early, and we get mad about that.
Yeah.
But and actually most times it's too early. Guy's cruising through 5 and he pulls him in the 6th.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? This guy, save your bullpen. But I'm not worried about a guy like Gonsolin not being built up because very rarely does Roberts say, hey, I need you to go 8.
Right.
I need you to go 7 or 8. I mean, starters for Dave Roberts, unless your name's Clayton Kershaw.
Yep.
Or Walker Buehler, who's out. But unless you're one of those guys, you're going 6 innings.
Right.
And Gonsolin goes 6.
Okay, so you got Braves, Astros winning?
Yes.
I have Dodgers, Astros, Dodgers winning.
Boy, that would be fun in my house. For those of you that are new listeners, my youngest son, my middle child, is a huge Astros fan, and we may have some words if it's Dodgers, Astros in the World Series like it was 6 years ago or whatever it was, 5 years ago. But all right, so that wraps it up. I've got Astros, you've got Dodgers.
Yep. So let's cover one more thing real quick, just because this will be announced, I think, maybe by the time next time we come. Just real quick, just give me your name for AL MVP.
It's gonna be Judge.
Judge,
Yep.
I agree. Judge.
Yep.
I wouldn't be mad if it's Ohtani. I think they're going to be 1-2.
Yeah. Definitely gonna be 1-2.
AL Cy Young. Verlander. I agree.
Yep.
I agree with both those. NL MVPs, Goldschmidt, we're both on that boat. And then here's where the one maybe NL Cy Young.
Listen, I'm a homer. I think it should be Urias, but I think Alcantara's going to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Alcantara.
I don't know how to say his name. Is it Alcantara or Alcantara? I don't know.
Anyway, I say Alcantara, but
Sandy for the Marlins.
Yeah, Sandy.
That's how you
really
say his
stud
name.
pitcher. Okay, so good. I think easy Rookie of the Year, American League, Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, kid for the Mariners.
And then who is... Spencer Strider probably for...
Oh, I actually have Harris for the Braves.
Harris is good. I think it's Strider or Harris.
It could be Strider, though, actually. Now that I think about it, probably should be Strider. I kind of had Harris in the back of my mind for that, but I'll change it. I'll go to Strider. Strider should win.
We didn't plan on talking about that. I just thought about it. So
yeah.
All right.
So go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
772 Sports is brought to you by the Higgins Home Group. Let the tag team of Mike and Vicky Higgins help you either find your dream home or sell your current home for top dollar. The Higgins Home Group is one of Dale Sorensen Real Estate's premier real estate teams. Give them a call at 772-532-8148. Next up, Chalk Talk. All right, we're done with baseball and on to the NFL. Mike, we've got some good games coming up this week. We're into week 5 now.
Yes.
We've got you want to hear some crazy stats?
Let's do it.
All right. 1 undefeated team. That's it. The Eagles. Yep. And there are no winless teams.
1 winless team.
Who?
Because I was agreeing with you and I just looked.
Who hasn't won a game?
Houston. 0-3-1.
Oh, my bad. They haven't
0-3-1.
They haven't won a game, but they did not lose one. That's right. So 1 winless team and 1 undefeated team.
Yeah.
Here's my question, and we're jumping right into it.
Yes.
I like parity.
Yeah.
Is there too much?
I don't think so.
Dude, we're doing these pick'ems.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, for those of you that aren't really familiar with us as hosts, I have a 1.5-year-old baby. She's, 17 months or something like that, 18 months. We literally take the 2 teams that are playing each other and set them side by side and have her pick a helmet, and she's like 500 this year. Dude, she picks winners. She beat me 2 weeks ago. It's a crapshoot. It's a coin flip when it comes to these games, man.
No, I love it. I think it's good for the NFL.
It's fun. I do like that there are a lot of close games.
Yeah.
You're not really seeing too many blowouts. And,
right.
and I read a stat a couple weeks ago that it was like I think it was through 3 weeks. It was the most games decided by 3 points or fewer in NFL history through 3 weeks. But I just wonder if there's a too much factor. Can it be too much?
I don't know, man. I like the fact that Buffalo and Kansas City aren't, 4-0, blowing everybody away.
Like I told you, I'm going to pick the Bills 17 times this year, and I've lost one.
Yeah.
Kansas City lost to the Colts. I mean, that just shouldn't happen. But it's funny because it reinforces what we said preseason, which is there are 15 teams out there that can win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
And man, I'm telling you, after 4 weeks, I agree with that more now than I did then. Anyway,
fun. So
what other storylines do we have? All right, so the Eagles are undefeated.
Yeah.
Texans haven't won a game. We've got a lot of parity.
Who's been your biggest surprise negatively so far? Because for me, it's easy. The Colts. I thought they were going to be so much more And I know that's your squad, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about that. Is it just
100% the biggest disappointment in the NFL this year? And I think this is from an objective standpoint. I don't think anybody would argue with me.
No.
I'm saying this because I'm a Colts fan, but the Colts have to be the biggest disappointment in the NFL this year. I mean, who else would it be? I mean, I'm looking at these teams. I mean, Washington's 1-3. Nobody expected them to be good. New Orleans is 1-3, but nobody really knew.
I said they were going to struggle with Jameis anyway. That's not a super big surprise.
Yeah, the Steelers are 1-3. I mean, nobody expected them to be great with a new quarterback coming out. I mean, the Colts were Super Bowl contenders in most people's, not most, in some people's eyes.
Yeah, no, we had them 1-2 in the division for sure. Like,
yeah. Now here's the craziest part: the Colts are like a game out of first.
Right.
I know it's only 4 weeks.
They're 1-2. Like, they're in third place, but one game back.
They go on a run, and all of a sudden,
but that division is wide open.
They are the biggest disappointment. I want to ask you, who's the biggest surprise, positively?
It has to be, I'm pretty impressed with Jacksonville so far.
Jacksonville has been very impressive. They're 2-2, but I mean, they lost last week to an undefeated team.
Yeah.
They shut out the Colts.
Yeah.
They blew out whoever was I think it was Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so I was going to say another team, but I'm
going to take the Dolphins. I'm just saying that if Positively, Dolphins.
I expected the Dolphins to be good this year.
I expect them to be good, but not
this good.
Not as good as they are so far, and we'll see where they are at, without Tua this week, how the depth is.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to... Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill's got to get the ball somehow.
Yeah. But Bridgewater is a good backup quarterback. Yeah. So if Tua misses 2 or 3 weeks, I think they win 2 of those games.
Yeah, he's a good spot starter to bring in some baseball terms. But all right, so my biggest surprise positively before we had this conversation was the Giants.
Yeah,
dude, they're 3-1.
Yeah.
Are they good?
You had nothing positive to say about them.
I thought they were going to go 0-17.
Like 3 games into the season, you were still not.
So I said I'm going to pick the Bills 17 times this year. I was pretty sure I was going to pick the Giants' opponent 17 times this year. Now I am. We'll get to pick'ems later. I am going to pick their opponent this week, but they're 3-1. That is, Vicky, you listening? I'm saying good things.
She's our number one fan.
I'm saying good things about the Giants. It's a rarity.
They've been good. Saquon Barkley has stayed healthy and has looked like a monster.
I know. Well, I mean, because he is.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, he's a top 5 back in the league.
Yeah.
So, and he's showing it.
They need to get more consistency from their wide receivers. They've not done much. But yeah, they're gonna get beat this week. They might play Wildcat. But their top 3 quarterbacks are all not playing. Yeah.
All right. So individual wise, player wise, who's your biggest surprise?
Saquon.
I
mean, it's just you and I talked on the pod this year or before the season started if McCaffrey and Saquon can stay healthy, like how good that would look, and they're both relatively healthy through the first part of the season.
Yeah, but Carolina still sucks.
Carolina sucks, and that's why I took Saquon because he's carried the Giants so far, and he's been a monster.
So your answer, Saquon. Mine is going to surprise you, and he is the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. Do you know who it is? It's a great trivia question.
Is it?
And it's not an easy question.
It's not Tua?
It's not Tua.
No, I don't know.
Geno Smith.
I would have guessed
as of
that.
2 weeks ago, and I don't think it's changed much. He had a 77% completion rating, and he's the only quarterback. I saw this thing, and I could go through my photos and find. I screenshot it, but it was like he was the only quarterback in the NFL with a 75% completion percentage, 1,000 yards passing, X amount of touchdowns, Y amount of interceptions or fewer.
Yeah.
Dude, he's made Seattle okay.
Yeah.
Seattle was supposed to be horrible. They were supposed to be really bad. They're in the mix. Okay, again,
he's still number 1 by a lot and completion percentage.
Dude. And listen, they're 2-yard dumps to DK. I get it. I understand how this works. But what I'm getting at is he's managing games like he's supposed to. And I'm telling you, having seen Geno Smith in the NFL in the last few years, I would never have expected that. He's actually okay.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest surprise to me.
He still has the high. He is 5th highest in average yards per pass, 7.9. So it's not all dink and dunk,
right? Well, I think it's dink and dunk in yards after reception, but we could dive deep into those stats.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy, but what I'm getting at is he's made them a contender. Not a contender. Let me take that back.
He's made them competitive.
He's made them competitive in a league in which there's a bunch of contenders.
Yeah.
And you can maybe argue that Seattle's one.
So one thing that I wanted to bring up because I thought it was funny, and you just mentioned DK. Did you see that he had to get carted off the field on Sunday because he had to poop?
So as you know, we watch all the games, right? I've got literally every game that's going on my TVs in my house. And somebody sees DK getting carted off. And they're like, oh, God, DK's hurt. And so I go because I think I was playing him last week in my fantasy. So I'm like, oh, shit, like what happened? And I can't find anything, and I can't find anything, and I can't find anything. And I see him back on the field, and I'm like, oh, like he got carted off the field, but he's back in the game. And then I read the next day, he had to take a dump. He had to poop.
It's unbelievable.
That is hilarious.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I mean, now didn't Paul Pierce for the Celtics back in the day? Like, didn't they cart him off in a wheelchair because he did shit his pants?
Yeah, it was something along those. He was either about to or he was holding it back.
They had the towel over him and everything. Like, dude, that is hilarious. I've never seen a player carted off the field for a non-injury. So I did see that. But anyway. Do you want to talk about our pick'ems and
not really?
Yeah, I know. Well, and listen, man, I've got you in both.
Really.
So again, we're 2 weeks behind. So 2 weeks ago, Mike and I tied. We were both 8-8. Again, the definition of parity, 8-8. Last week, not good for Mike. COVID brain, sick brain, cold brain,
sick.
Whatever you want to call it.
I was sick. I texted you my picks. It was just like,
yep,
didn't think about it.
Yep,
but
you obviously didn't think about it. So I went 12-4. Mike went 9-7, which is actually better than your week before.
Yeah,
you did a game better.
Yeah,
but on the season, I am 41-22-1. Mike is 35-28-1.
I'll catch you.
So you got 6 games to catch up now.
I'm gonna catch you.
All right. Well,
it's time to start taking it serious now.
All right. So let's do them. How's that? How's that sound?
I'm ready if you're ready, Bubba.
All right. Let's go. All right. So tonight, we've got a game that I'm not excited about.
Jonathan Taylor's out.
Jonathan Taylor's out. Right. The only
half
good
the
player
team's out.
Yeah. The only Shaquille Leonard, Darius Leonard, he's out. Which he's played half a game this year. Best defensive player on our team's out. Best offensive player on our team's out. Not good. Colts play the Broncos. It's at 8:15. Amazon Prime. Hope you're streaming. Broncos are a 3-point favorite. 3 points, Mike.
At home.
At home.
They got the old at-home special because this game.
That should be 33.
Should it?
I don't know, man. It's a Vegas. Is this a Vegas special?
I'm not big on the Broncos either. I'm taking them this week.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
All right.
I'm taking them just strictly off of who the Colts have out.
All right. So tonight, we both have the Broncos.
Okay.
All right. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Sunday, 9:30. London game.
Again.
Going British
breakfast,
style.
Kegs and eggs.
That's right. Kegs and eggs. Giants and Packers. We got. All right. Packers are 8-point favorites.
I have the Packers.
Yeah.
Only because I think this would be a close game if they had a quarterback. They're legitimately talking about running Wildcat half the game.
Yeah, you can't do that. You just can't do that.
So
what happened to Danny Dimes? Daniel Jones is out.
It was.
And how long is he going to be out?
I think it's a week or two.
Okay.
I think he could be back next week.
That's a shame because the Giants were promising.
Well, he might be a high ankle sprain. I think he came in, got hurt last week, and came in and played the end of the game and just handed the ball off.
Wasn't it the Broncos a couple years ago that played without a quarterback?
Yeah.
A whole game?
Yeah,
and
they had a wide receiver. Yeah. So
I think they threw 2 passes.
Yeah.
And one was picked, I think. So London Sunday morning ought to be very interesting. 9:30, Kegs and eggs.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the 1 o'clock game. So we both have the Packers.
Yep.
1 o'clock, Steelers Bills. Bills are 14-point favorites, which is wild in the NFL.
If you're sticking to I know you're a man of your word, so I already know who you're picking every week for the Bills.
Picking the Bills
games.
every week.
All right, I got the Bills as well.
Okay, so we both have the Bills. All right, next game, 1 o'clock, Chargers Browns. It's in Cleveland. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites.
Chargers. Chargers.
Yeah, I got to take Herbert. That's a tough one for me. I want to take Cleveland.
San Diego. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
San Diego Superchargers.
Yeah, the Los Angeles Superchargers. All right, so we both have the Chargers. All right, next game, 1 o'clock, Bears and Vikings in Minnesota. They're 7-point favorites.
Minnesota.
All right. Next, your boys, Lions and Patriots. The Patriots are 3-point favorites. It's in Foxborough. Who's the quarterback? Is it
Zappy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
It's not Mac Jones, right?
No, he's out. Mac-tastrophe.
I'm going to do the Lions one more time. Gosh
God
dang
damn it,
man.
Mike. I was going to take the Lions.
Gosh dang it.
All right. I'm going to take the Lions.
They freaking every week.
Highest scoring team in the NFL.
They do it to me every week.
Detroit Lions.
And every week he texts me, Lions.
Lions are the highest scoring team in the NFL, and they're 1-3.
Crazy.
That's nuts. All right. So we're the same so far. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Seahawks Saints. It's in the Bayou. New Orleans, 5.5-point favorites. All right, I'll go first. I am going to take Seattle.
All right, I'll take New Orleans.
All right. I'm taking the underdog.
It's going to be one of my makeup games.
Geno Smith is going to go bonkers on that defense. The
he
Saints.
He really could.
I guess is Jameis starting? Is Andy Dalton starting? Who's starting?
I think Jameis is back. I think
and I love Jameis.
Kamara's back.
Okay.
I think Michael Thomas is going to be back.
Seattle going to go down to the
should
Bayou.
Be a little more.
Whoop them.
So I could totally see it.
All right.
So we're talking about parity in the NFL, and I see a way all of these teams so far could win the other game.
Except the Colts.
Except the Giants, too, just because they don't have a quarterback.
And... yeah, how is Green Bay only an 8-point favorite? Going back to that.
I don't know.
With no quarterback. All right. All right, so we're different. We finally got a different game.
We got one different.
All right, we have Dolphins and Jets. It's in New Jersey, which doesn't make any sense. Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites.
Which, to me, it's even bigger than that being at New York. So, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Yeah, even with Bridgewater at the helm.
I like Bridgewater being there. He's a game manager. He's not going to try to do too much.
The Jets have really shown some life, though.
They have.
Now, again,
they're
I'm taking
2-2, right?
They're 2-2. I'm taking the Dolphins, but I think that's an appropriate line.
Is it Robert Saleh? I like their their coach. He's a good. I like their coach, and I like the Dolphin or the Lions coach. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head. We've talked about it 3 different times, and I keep saying I'll remember his name.
It was Matt Patricia forever.
It's not him anymore. It's Dan Campbell, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, I like him. So, anyway, Dolphins.
All right, so we both have the same there. So far, we still only have one difference. Another 1 o'clock game, Falcons and Bucks. It's in Tampa. Tampa's a 9-point favorite. Tom Brady coming off a divorce. I'm joking. I don't know if they're getting divorced.
Are you, though?
I mean, I read something about it. Giselle, what's up? All right, they're both 2-2. Bucks are 9-point favorites. It's in Tampa. What you got?
Bucks by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. The Falcons. Again, Falcons are 2-2. They suck, though. Bucks are going to win. And now that I said it like that, Falcons are going to surprise them. But we both have the Bucks. All right, next up, Titans Commanders. It's in Washington, D.C. Tennessee 2.5-point favorites.
I got Tennessee by 10. I think they're finally starting to use Derrick Henry the way he should be used.
It sucks because if Carson Wentz can finally show up, the Colts will be in decent shape in that division. But the Titans are going to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Titans offensive coordinator. My stepson is a huge Titans fan, so I hear all about it. Nobody is high on the Titans offensive coordinator. He completely misuses Derrick Henry all the time.
But like you said, they're starting to use him.
They're starting to get him. So I got Titans,
and I have no faith in Carson Wentz. So I'm going to take the Titans as well. So we're still the same. Sans one game. All right, next up, another 1 o'clock game. Texans and Jags. The 0-3-1 Texans against the 2-2 Jaguars. The Jaguars are 7-point favorites.
Jags. Let's go, Jags.
Jags.
Duval.
The Hold on. The Jaguars and the Titans are going to be co-leaders in the AFC South at 3-2 after this week. That's my hot take. All right, let's move on. We have 3 4 o'clock games. We have the 49ers and the Panthers. 49ers at 2-2. Carolina's 1-3. It's in Carolina. The 49ers are 6.5-point favorites.
I'm almost ready to jump off of my Panthers. Are going to be surprising. I'm going 49ers, picking against them again.
They're surprisingly bad. I'm taking the 49ers
They're not surprisingly bad. You pretty much called it.
Well, for you, surprisingly
I thought
bad.
Baker was going to do a little more than he's doing. He is terrible. He's had 5 million passes batted down at the line. It's frustrating to watch. So, 49ers.
All right, next up, one of the other 4 o'clock games. Cowboys and Rams. This is in Los Angeles. The Rams are 5.5-point favorite. The Cowboys are 3-1. The Rams are 2-2. What do you got?
I like the Rams. I think Cooper Rush comes back down to earth if he plays. I think if they try to rush Dak Prescott out there, he's not going to be ready.
Can I make a contingency pick here? Can I pick the Cowboys?
Yeah.
If Cooper Rush starts.
Yeah. And if Dak starts, you're taking the Rams?
And if Dak starts, I'm taking the Rams.
All right.
I hate to do that to you.
No,
We're doing
I got
this 3 days before the game.
I got it.
But if at 12:55, all of a sudden they're like, hey, Dak Prescott starting, I'm taking the Rams.
Yep, contingency game.
I'm telling you right now, if Dak Prescott starts for the Cowboys fans should riot. I love this kid Rush. As a matter of fact, I like him so much that if the Cowboys start Dak, I want the Colts to try and trade for Cooper Rush.
That's maybe not a bad idea.
I'm going to write Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard and be like, yo, go get this guy. All right, so we might have that different. But as of now, we're still the same
I'd say Cooper Rush is starting, so right now we're different.
Okay, let's go. I like it. All right, next up, the last 4 o'clock game. It is the Eagles and the Cardinals. It's in Arizona. The Eagles coming in undefeated, 4-0.
Yep.
Cardinals 2-2. Eagles 5-point favorites.
I like the Eagles to move to 5-0. I think they're going to fall off that high horse at some point, but not yet.
So I read something wild about Kyler Murray. Okay.
Yep.
And there's been some talks about this, about he's addicted to video games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Call of Duty comes out this week, I think. Bro, if he sucks, is there a problem in Arizona? Like, if he's playing, like, is it double XP weekend? Like, if he sucks and there's something to have to do with Call of Duty and double XP and all that. Bro.
Listen, man, if they signed him to a new contract and if they had to originally put in that contract that you have to study X amount of...
And you can't play video games.
Yeah, like there's a problem there. Yeah. Even though they took it out and said they shouldn't have put it in there and it wasn't a problem. That was just more because Kyler was embarrassed.
Right?
Like there has to be an issue there. So we'll see what happens. I like the Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles too.
Yeah, just strictly
especially
off quarterback
since Call of
play.
Duty is popping right now. So, if it wasn't Call of Duty day, I might take them, but I'm taking Philly. All right, next up, the Cincinnati Bengals at 2-2, the Baltimore Ravens at 2-2. It's in Baltimore. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite. Sunday Night Football. What you got?
I'm still split on this one. What do you got?
All right, I'm going to take Baltimore. Although Cincinnati's getting a lot better. This is going to be probably the game of the week. This is going to be a phenomenal game, Mike. This is a game I'm going to stay up for. But I'm going to take Baltimore. I like Lamar.
I have Baltimore on my pick'em thing, and I think I'm switching to Cincinnati.
Oh.
Just for the sake of argument, just for the sake of trying to come back.
You
because
need to catch up. You got
this
6
is one of the
games
games that's going to be like a 50-50 game, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 50-50.
Well, you always talk about the home line.
Yeah.
You know, Baltimore's home, and they're 3-point favorites. So that effectively means that they're equal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take Cincy, but I had Baltimore. I'm taking Cincy just because I'm so far behind you.
Yep.
And I'm not sick. This is a level-headed pick.
All right. And then Monday Night Football, October the 10th. Happy birthday, Birdie. You got Raiders and Chiefs. Raiders are 1-3. Chiefs are 3-1. It's in Kansas City, and Kansas City is a 7-point favorite.
Chiefs big.
So I'm taking the Chiefs big.
Big.
It's unfortunate for the Raiders because they were 0-3.
Yeah.
Finally got on the horse last week, and now they got to go to Kansas City, where it's the Red Kingdom. It's Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
it's going to be loud. And that's just, listen, I don't hate the Raiders. I actually kind of like the Raiders. It's just very unfortunate for them that now, like, you're right back into a hole. So now, here's what I'll tell you. If the Raiders come out and win that game, look out. Because now they're on. But I just don't see it happening, man. I think the Chiefs are going to do it. So what do we have different here? We
had 2 games, right?
I took the Seahawks. You took the Saints.
We have 3. Seahawks, Saints.
Yep.
Right now, Cowboys, Rams.
Unless Dak plays.
And then Bengals, Ravens.
Yep. All right.
And I'm only different on that one because I need to catch up to you.
All right. Well, that's it for our NFL Pick'ems this week.
Let's go.
What do we have next? Are we done?
We have Chalk Talk, baby. I mean, no, not Chalk Talk. We have Factor Cap.
Factor Cap. All right. Here we go. Fact or Cap. All right, boys and girls, this is a little segment that used to be called True or False, but as the kids say, it's Fact or
Factor Cap. Learning it from my teenage kids.
That's right. Cap or no cap?
Cap or no cap.
Cap or no cap.
Speaking of kids.
Yep.
Zay's birthday today,
Happy
right?
Birthday,
Happy
Zay.
birthday, big dog.
14 years old.
Literally one of the coolest kids I've ever hung out with. He's just a good, respectful kid. I'm happy that my son hangs out with him.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a great kid. Just he doesn't know it yet. Can I say it? He might listen to it. Yeah, I don't want to say what we got him for his birthday yet because he might listen to this.
You have to tell me when we get off, though.
Yeah. All right, I'll tell you. But I think he's gonna like the gift a lot, and big sports fan, Dodger fan. But you know what I love most about him? I love a lot of things about him, but how diligent he is with school.
Yeah.
A+ student every quarter. I never have to get on him about grades or assignments or any of that. I get to get on him about other stuff, but I don't have to get on him about that. And he's very respectful.
Very respectful kid. Helped last week with people cleaning up hurricane stuff I saw. So
they're good kids, man. Both of them are good kids. But it's Isaiah's birthday. He's 14. Very proud of him.
Big
young man. Getting a little mustache. That's why I'm growing my beard out. Just to show him who's boss. I can't have a man.
You got to assert dominance.
I can't have a man in my house with facial hair and looking down at me.
He's sizing you up a little bit when you walk by.
Sometimes, yeah. He's like, "Sup? I'm gonna bust you up." So, anyway, happy birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday, buddy.
So, Factor Cap. All right, I got one for you, Mike. Is this, and we alluded to this earlier, is this the greatest Major League Baseball season of all time?
This is completely my opinion, but I say fact because just of what we've seen. Like I said earlier, we've been alive for all of this. Like we've been not just alive, but we've been in our like prime years and been able to watch all of this.
All right, so I'm gonna say you say fact, and the question's for you. The only one that I could say is that there's two. Okay, there's two, and I wasn't alive for either one, and I think some of you know I'm like kind of a baseball historian. All right, 1941.
Yep.
All right, Joe DiMaggio hits 56 straight games, and Ted Williams hits 406.
That's a good.
All right, but it was 70, 80 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, so okay. And the other, and I can't remember the year, and I know that somebody will. I believe it was 1968. Bob Gibson has an ERA of like 1.28.
Right.
And and the name's eluding me now. He won 30 games. The same season. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. That's going to drive me up a wall. I can't think of his name.
You'll think of it while you're setting the pod up. And then...
So, yeah, anyway. So I will say that this ranks as number 3. 1941 has got to be the greatest season of all time. I mean, again, a guy hits 406, a guy hits 56 straight games. On the swing to a pitcher's note, 1968. I'm not going to stop talking about this until I can remember the guy's name. 30 wins for, golly, it's on the tip of my tongue, and Bob Gibson, and then this season. But this is the greatest season of my life. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, and then the other factor cap I had for you is, okay. Or do you want to ask me one?
Yeah, man, let me ask one to you.
I do two, and then you do two.
No,
okay.
it's 1 and 1.
All right, well, do one.
You're switching it up on me.
Yeah, I'm throwing you for a loop.
Okay, so Eagles are 4-0.
Yep.
Okay, let me tell you what they have coming up, okay? They're 4-0 now. They have Cardinals, Cowboys, Steelers, Texans, Commanders, Colts. Can they get to 10-0?
They can. They're not.
They're going to slip up somewhere, right?
I think they lose to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
If Cooper Rush is starting. No, I'm kidding.
Cooper Rush.
But
so it's
yeah,
cap.
it's just again, we talked about it. It's cap.
Cap.
Too
Okay.
much parity. Too much parity. They're going to slip up
I
against
agree.
somebody.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to be 8-2 or 9-1.
Yeah.
You know, they're a good team.
That's a pretty soft schedule the
Yeah.
way everybody's played
for sure.
so far.
So it's cap.
All right.
All right, so my other for you is and we will get to this next podcast. Will Jimbo Fisher be fired Sunday?
No.
Okay.
That's cap.
Okay. Because they're going to lose.
They're going to lose to Alabama, but it's Alabama. I don't think that they...
Okay. All right.
But, I think that could be coming.
They've already set up funding. They're ready.
I think it could be coming. I don't know if it's coming this week, but it's coming.
All right.
Okay. Now yours. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit. Assuming that Kimbrel makes the postseason roster, does Craig Kimbrel close out a game in a safe situation for the Dodgers in the playoffs?
Yes. And he loses it. So that's a cap. He doesn't close the game.
Right.
He comes in
and
blows the safe.
Yep. I should have said, does he?
Yep.
Yeah. So yes.
So it's a fact that they bring him in a safe situation. It's a cap that he actually closes the game.
And then we riot.
And then, there will be letter writing. I'm telling you.
Then I'm going to have a real problem, and you're definitely going to hear about it.
All right. Is that it, Mike?
That's it, man.
We're done. All right. So to recap, happy birthday, Zay. And make sure you start watching some playoffs. And tonight, the Colts are going to lose.
Let's go.
All right. Here we go. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.